Our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. Something strange is going on. For some reason, they don't want to tell the people, and they should.
As the drone mania spreads all over the East Coast, the mainstream media is trying their best to hide some of the most concerning stories about these mysterious sightings. That's why in this video, I'm going to tell you how these drones might be connected to a rogue nuke and why you should not approach them even if they appear in your backyard. And we're starting things off with some shocking claims from a man named John Ferguson, who happens to be the CEO of Saxon Unmanned, a Kansas-based company that creates drone systems. In his TikTok video, John said this about the drone situation.
But I want to give you the truth and what I believe. It's my own opinion, and I've not bounced this off of anybody, so, if you think it's bullshit, whatever, that's cool. I don't want to spread misinformation, as we know that there's a lot of that going around. But anyway, back in the 1980s, Ronald Reagan had dismantled the nuclear program, and there were, with Russia, there were countless nuclear missiles that were disarmed and disposed of. Well, there were over 80, I believe. There were over 80 nuclear warheads that were in Ukraine that came up missing.
Now, I couldn't find any report on nukes lost in Ukraine. However, in September of 1997, the Nuclear Threat Initiative, NTI, published a report that quoted former Russian National Security Advisor Alexander Lebed. Lebed claimed that the Russian military lost track of upwards of 100 nuclear suitcase bombs. This report does give some credibility to John's claims, so let's just listen to what else he has to say.
So I spoke to a gentleman a few months ago who was trying to raise an alarm to the highest levels of our government, which they had their ears closed, about this one particular nuclear warhead that he physically put his hands on. He physically touched this warhead that was left over from Ukraine. And he knew that thing was headed towards the United States. Do y'all remember when those drones were mysteriously flying across the Interstate 70 corridor from Colorado up into Nebraska, down here into Kansas, and out into Missouri? Well, it was believed that those drones were looking for radioactive material because there had been some material that came up missing here in the United States.
John isn't wrong about the Colorado sightings either. In 2019, authorities had no way to explain the clusters of unknown aircraft that were observed in small counties across Colorado and Nebraska. Now, this is the point where John gives his professional opinion as to why he thinks these drones are looking for lost warheads.
Now, drones, they have no reason to be in the air at night, unless you're doing some type of ISR work, intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, looking for bad guys, or looking for a victim, a search and rescue victim, or law enforcement, or some type of military project, right? There's no reason for a drone to be flying at night, really, okay? Because they don't see shit. So, unless you have thermal optics, drones really don't see stuff. You need to do mapping during the day. If you're going to do farming stuff, you mostly do it during the day. The only reason why you would ever fly an unmanned aircraft at night, is if you're looking for something. My belief is they're trying to smell something on the ground. Gas leaks, radioactive material, whatever. So, and do I think that they're coming up out of the ocean? No, I don't think so. Drones that are multi-copter type drones, not the fixed wing aircraft that look like regular airplanes, but the multi-copters, they only have so much battery life. They have hybrid versions that are gas powered with electric, but those can still only fly for a short period of time. There's no way in hell that any drone is going to go miles off the coast as a multicopter and fly into the interior of the United States and do a bunch of work and then turn around and fly back. It's just physics will not allow that to happen.
Now, as you saw, John says the drones are either looking for radioactivity or they're just trying to detect gas leaks. Now, considering that these drones are showing up over an area of hundreds of thousands of square miles, the gas leak theory just doesn't work. The radioactivity claim, however, has merit because multiple media outlets have reported that these drones are on a mission directed by the elusive Office of Global Access. And according to a top security leak, the mission focuses on detecting gamma rays potentially tied to a stray nuclear weapon or mass casualty device hidden along America's east and west coasts. Some other very strange stories also seem to suggest that the government knows more about these drones than they're telling us. For instance, just look at this intelligence bulletin sent from the New Jersey Division of Fire Safety and Fire Threat Task Force. These instructions are pretty clear and absolutely mind-boggling. First of all, they are telling people to stay the hell away from any crashed drones. And on top of that, they are asking their employees to evacuate people in every direction up to 330 feet. They also ask fire service members to use personal protective equipment while evacuating people. And after notifying law enforcement and, more interestingly, the FBI about a crashed drone, the fire service members are asked to call a local hazmat team to the site. The hazardous material response teams are also instructed in this bulletin to establish radiation monitoring systems after reaching the crash site. And as if all these instructions weren't already scary enough, the fire service members are also very clearly told to call the nearest bomb squad to the site. And while such scary instructions are going out about these drones, John Kirby keeps repeating this BS.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, my goodness, looking at this. And we're taking it seriously. And we understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too. And we're working hard to get the answers to that. What I can tell you as we sit here today, at 2:16 in the afternoon on the 12th, is we haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk.
So we shouldn't be scared, even though our own agencies are telling us that we need hazmat suits to even be around these drones. Now, at the end of that intelligence bulletin, we also have another strange warning which states, and I quote, "Beware, electronic devices and two-way radio systems may malfunction in the immediate area." And this doesn't surprise me one bit, because in my previous video, I already told you that these drones are seemingly capable of EMP attacks. And today, I have another video that allegedly shows a smaller drone getting blown away by these mysterious flying objects in Arizona.
Could be a drone. I don't know what the hell that is. But that is quick. There's only one remaining right now. Whatever that green flashing one is, he moved quick around it to get it. Super quick. He's like right there with it. Oh, he's like right on it. Oh, that whatever it was just shut down the drone, if that was a drone.
And before you even ask, the drones have popped up in Arizona as well, and these are much brighter and seem to be stationary.
Come here, look at this. Come here. What is that?
Is that like a Chinese lantern or something? Like, what the
No, look at how fast it's moving.
Is that coming towards us?
It just showed up.
It's the flying candle! It's the flying
Okay, Maddie. Is this...
Look at now, it's not moving. Now it's just kind of.
What is that?
It's the flying
Now, so far, everything seems to suggest that John Ferguson might be onto something with this rogue warhead theory. However, there are some people who don't agree with him because they have their own very strong claims. According to Steve Kojek, these drones are not ours because
if these were ours, and the reason that they weren't telling the public was because they wanted to avoid a panic, then the Pentagon would have a cover story. In fact, they've never, in the history of the Pentagon, failed to have a cover story for any kind of domestic activity that's going on. They lie proficiently, but they lie efficiently. They make sure that the public feels at ease with whatever it is that they're doing, even if it's complete shit.
Now, Steve has a very good point here. When the government is doing something shady, they always have a very good way to explain it. However, right now, every press conference seems to be a train wreck where the government representatives don't really have any answers. Meanwhile, people also don't believe that all these flying objects are domestic drones on a clandestine mission. According to an Army veteran, these flying orbs might not even be drones at all.
I'm making this video because I have figured out what the drone situation is. I was in the Army, active duty. I worked on drones. I was a maintenance NCO for some surveillance drones. And before that, I worked on the Apache, the Kiowa. I know aviation. So what people are not noticing is that you have two separate types of drones and two separate types of things in the air right now. First off, the drones that you see with flight lights or anti-collision lights or the things that the FAA requires, those are drones that are probably operated by the United States government. Now, the orbs that you've been seeing on the internet, that is the reason why all those drones are up there. And that is also why the government isn't telling you what's going on. And that's because the drones that you see that look like regular aircraft, those drones are up there to get some information on the actual orbs, which are actually the UFOs.
And of course, there's a large number of people who still think these drones are spraying something really bad all over our skies, and they support their claim with clips like this one.
Look at this. Look at him spraying. Look at that. Look at that. He is spraying the sky again.
However, people like Colin Brown still think this might be a very good attempt by our government to distract us from other more important issues.
Am I the only one that thinks the timing of these drones is suspicious? In my mind, the drones that are being seen over New Jersey are a total distraction. I mean, what bizarre timing. The people in the United States finally start coming together and gaining a sort of class consciousness, talking constantly on all social media about how evil the rich ruling class is. And then immediately, literally immediately, gigantic drones are seen flying throughout New Jersey.
Dan Bongino also believes that the government knows exactly who owns these drones, and the government just doesn't want to tell us.
Something out at you right up front here. They know exactly who owns these drones and what they're doing in the sky. But they don't want to tell you for a reason. The reason is the United States government and the deep staters involved in it, they don't want to scare you with their own inadequacy. I'm 95% sure, if not more, it's China or some foreign adversary.
To be honest, it's very hard to believe that the US government is in the dark on this, because they seem to know everything else about us, and yet these drones are a mystery.
I know where you live, I know where you work, I know your social security number, I know what you have for dessert, I know what you have for dinner, I know what you have for breakfast, I know what you have for lunch, I know where your favorite bar is, I know where your favorite restaurant is, I know that you like playing video games, I know you cheat on your wife. Okay, do you know what these drones are about? No clue.
Now, thankfully, there are some politicians who are desperately trying to stop this madness.
As many of you know, state and local law enforcement is precluded by law from taking more decisive action, which is why DOD must. They are the ones who have the ability and the authority to act. Congress, yes, and the president, yes, need to move quickly to expand state and local authorities, powers. But DOD has it right now. Sheriff Golden wrote me a few days ago requesting legislation to empower the state police to seriously protect at-risk persons and infrastructure, and if necessary, bring down a dangerous drone or drones. I am now drafting that bill and will soon introduce it. I want to thank him for that idea.
However, some people are also suspicious of these lawmakers. In fact, there's even a theory that the government is trying to scare us with these drones so they can easily extend the FAA reauthorization bill of 2018. In a tweet that has gone viral, ex-user Wyatt states, "The FAA Reauthorization Act of 2018 expires on December 20th of this year. So the federal government is literally using a terrorism drone mystery psyop against you to manipulate Congress into passing the new H.R. 8610 Counter-UAS Authority, Security, Safety, and Reauthorization Act of 2024, which will include appropriations and enhanced government powers to control you. And they're even going so far as to use it to push for acts of war against other countries." With things getting so out of hand, Donald Trump has also finally raised the alarm about these drone sightings, and in his Truth Social post, he said, "Mystery drone sightings all over the country. Can this really be happening without our government's knowledge? I don't think so. Let the public know, and now. Otherwise, shoot them down." Now, of course, this doesn't mean that you or I should try to literally shoot down these drones, because as we've seen, they're likely dangerous even after a crash. And even more importantly, you can end up going to a federal prison if you shoot down one of these drones. That's because the Federal Aviation Administration classifies drones as aircraft, and under the Aircraft Sabotage Act, damaging or destroying aircraft is a federal offense, even if it's flying over private property. So basically, even if a drone appears on your farm and disturbs your livestock, you can't just shoot it down. Don't you just love America? Now, I would like to end this video by sharing a clip that perfectly sums up how I feel about this situation.
So first off, only one of two realities can be true regarding this stuff. The first reality being that this is the United States government doing it. Because in reality number two, if it's not our government doing this, then we have the most incompetent government in the history of humanity.
Let me know what you guys think about this madness that has gripped our entire nation. Do you believe in the rogue nuke theory, or do you think something else is going on here? Share your thoughts with everyone in the comments section down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I'll catch you in the next one.